Got a great question the other day on my Instagram. Somebody asked, how do you get taller biceps? Now, actually an amazing question because the bicep muscle is split into two different heads. We have the short head and we have the long head. Now, to get a taller looking bicep, this is going to be the long head of the biceps, and this is going to mean aka the bicep peak. So in this video, I'm going to show you 7 amazing exercises that are going to help you get a taller bicep and a fuller bicep peak.
You ain't got no gains. You ain't lift no weights.
It's no secret that Arnold Schwarzenegger was known for his arms. Now, the reason why his arms look so impressive is he has a really full and pronounced long head of the biceps, aka that bicep peak. And as you can see, it almost creates these like little mountains on your arm when you're flexing, especially from the front. So in order to have really big looking arms, it is essential that we have full bicep peaks. Now, this is actually a big weakness genetically for me. Everyone's biceps are going to insert differently. So I like to say, make your mess your message. Being a weak point for me, I've studied how to maximize the bicep peak and long head growth a ton. And these 7 exercises are really outside the box, and they're really going to help you develop that full long head. To better isolate the long head of the biceps versus the short head, and keep in mind, we are going to be working the short head a little bit, but the whole point is more emphasis on the long head throughout these movements. So, number 1, we can place our arms behind the plane of our body, like when doing an incline curl, rotating our elbows up and placing them in several different movements and angles, as well as placing our hands in an inside shoulder width position and in front of our body. So these 3 specific ways are going to help emphasize the long head, aka the bicep peak. Now, it's been shown that the biceps are mostly a type 2 muscle fiber. What this means is they're going to respond best to heavy overload, basically lifting the heaviest weight possible while keeping good form and maximizing our tension on the long head of the biceps. But according to a research study by Brad Schoenfeld, there are 3 main ways that our body is going to build muscle mass, and like any other muscle group, it is very essential that we hit all 3 for the greatest stimuli for muscle growth. So number 1, we have mechanical tension. This is basically lifting heavy like we already talked about. Number 2 and 3 is muscular damage and metabolic stress, and we are going to maximize these 2 by going very slow and controlled on the eccentric portion of a few of the exercises, going high repetition and really changing up the exercises, shocking the muscle with variety. The first exercise, we're going to lift very heavy to maximize those type 2 muscle fibers. We're going to do the standing close grip cable curl. Now, this is a great exercise to start with because number 1, we want to lift heavy in the 6 to 10 repetition range. And number 2, it was actually shown that the cable curl produces more EMG activity than actually the standing barbell or straight bar curl. So going heavy and starting off with a curl activity that produces more EMG activity is going to allow us to really maximize the gains in the long head. So go nice and heavy, really focus on squeezing the bicep all the way through, and go 3 sets in the 6 to 10 rep range. Next up, we have the lying cable curl. Now this is going to put our elbow in a different position. Once again, we're going close grip to emphasize the long head, and you're going to feel a really intense pull right on your bicep on this exercise. I recommend going 5 sets on this, going a little higher rep range, like in the 10 to 15 rep range, and resting only 45 seconds between sets. So you want to start off with the bar. You want to grasp the bar in an underhand grip position with the bar right over your chest, and you're going to curl in right to your forehead. You're going to really focus on squeezing the biceps as hard as possible when you get towards your forehead, and then going back nice and slow on the eccentric portion to maximize the muscle damage phase. Next up, we have heavy close grip curl, really trying to start the workout with the heavier lifts on our biceps since they are a type 2 muscle fiber. So now we're pretty fatigued. We're getting into heavy close grip curls. So once again, hands inside shoulder width apart to emphasize the long head, and I'm using a bicep blaster So I can keep my elbows and my arms in front of my body with a close grip, which is going to maximize the long head. So going fairly heavy on this, really focusing on squeezing the bicep through the final 3/4 portion of each rep. And especially as I get close to the top, I'm really focusing on finding that tension point, squeezing the bicep, and then going down nice and slow and controlled. So I want you guys to do 3 sets of this, go fairly heavy in the 6 to 10 rep range. Next up, another really unique movement that puts our elbows in a different position and allows us to hit the bicep from a different angle. And keep in mind, some people have short arms. I have really long arms. Everyone's going to find a different friction point right on the long head of the biceps. So I find with these exercises like the line cable curl and the lat pull-down curl, I find that it really puts a different pull and tension on the bicep. So play around with your elbow positions and you're about to see an incredibly unique exercise doing just that, playing with the elbow position. So I want you guys to go fairly light on this, really focus on the squeeze. So go 3 sets, 15 to 20 reps per set, and keep your rest time at 45 seconds. All right, this is probably the most unique exercise of the bunch. We have the standing close grip curls. Now, you're going to do a regular curl, keeping your hands inside shoulder width apart in front of your body. And as you get up to the apex of the movement, you're going to squeeze your biceps as hard as you can, and you're going to lift your elbow so it's parallel to the floor. And by lifting your elbow while your bicep is fully flexed and there's tension on it, you're going to feel an extra pull, and it's really going to maximize those long head gains. So go heavy on this. Go like 5 to 6 reps. It's going to be a little bit more time under tension since you are flexing at the top and then pulling your elbow parallel, and you guys are going to feel an incredible pull right on the biceps. Let me know what you guys think of this one. Next up, we have the close grip seated barbell curl. Now, why not spend some time up high where the biceps can be fully activated, and the seated barbell curl does just that, allowing you to work your biceps to a point of exhaustion they seldom, if ever, experience. So really focus on squeezing the biceps all the way through. Bring it down, not straight down to your lap, but try to bring it down and really play around with how you're bringing it down and how it's maximizing the activation in the biceps. And then end it with 6 to 10 little tension reps at the end where you're stopping halfway and squeezing the bicep. Next up, we have dumbbell incline curls. Now, this is putting the shoulders behind your body, and this is going to allow us to greater work the long head. So I want you guys to go 8 to 10 reps on this and start off the movement. Really focus on squeezing your shoulder blades and your rear delt back so your shoulders are all the way back. So go 8 to 10 full range of motion reps. And then once you're fully fatigued, I want you guys to transition into 4 to 6 partial reps where you're basically going up 30 to 40% of the way. When you're fully fatigued, this is going to allow us to maximize our time under tension right on the long head of the bicep. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I'm going to put the entire workout on the screen for you right now, so make sure you screenshot it, take it to the gym with you, and enjoy those bicep gains. So let me know in the comments below if you have any ideas for future videos. I have a lot of fun stuff in store, so thank you guys so much for the support, and I'm going to link at the end of this video to a couple more awesome shoulder and arm workout videos that'll help you guys make those aesthetic gains.